Hey friends, it's Quenby, the Grateful Queen here on YouTube. Welcome to another video all about reselling online. As you can see, I'm joined by my beautiful, wise, inspirational friend, Leslie. In just a minute, I'm going to have her introduce herself. Today is May 19th, and we are live, so the live chat will be open. If you're watching the replay, you can see the live chat there. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Quenby. I've been selling for 10 years on eBay. Oh my gosh. And a few years on Poshmark. I'm also doing a little bit on Etsy. And we are going to talk a little bit about slowdown in the reseller community, the summer slowdown, and then anything, of course, that anybody else wants to chat about. So Leslie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
Yes. Hey, everyone. I am Leslie Tucker, better known as A Reseller's Passion. And I have a wonderful community on Instagram, now a wonderful community on Clubhouse. And I host a podcast and a YouTube channel, Reseller's Passion. I just put out my first video for like however long.
Oh my gosh, I missed you.
I missed myself. I was like, the editing was the thing, though. I was like, I didn't miss editing. But yeah, so I am so excited to be here. I miss Quenby. I miss going live. But as Quenby and I said, we have to just kind of figure out how to not overextend ourselves. I've been talking a lot about that this week. And I took time away from my channel, my podcast, to move and to just really figure out what it is I needed to, get my business and my life on track. And I am back, but I'm taking my time. And being on this live is the start to, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm so glad. I've missed you so much. Leslie has been on the channel so many times. We've done vision boards. We've done so many different shows. It's always a fantastic conversation. So I'm glad you are here. So tell me a little bit about Leslie. What's your experience? First, what is summer slowdown? I see some friends coming in. We'll be saying hi.
Everyone. Well, it's honestly have experienced summer slowdown. Okay, I'll tell you why in a minute, but it's supposed to be period. Is that we have that?
It does sound. Let us know in the chat. Does Leslie sound a little bit of feedback on her sound?
Yeah, let me go down a little bit. But it's supposed to be this period and slow down, which is summer. July is that month, right? And I think that most people it's based on their. Oh, I'm having a weird time.
I see Wendy in the chat and Deb. Do you guys hear any feedback on Leslie's? Can you hear her okay? It's a little bit hard to hear you, but yes, a little feedback.
Yeah, we don't want that. What's going on?
Do you have anything else on?
No, I don't have anything else on. It's just you and I.
The only thing that sometimes helps, we could give it a couple minutes, see how it goes. And then the other thing that sometimes helps is going out and coming back on.
You might have to do that. You can't mess
I see Wendy here. I know she's one of your besties.
Wendy Span is my best. She's not only one of my besties. She's my bestie. Hey, Wendy Span. I love Wendy. She's one of my besties that I've known for 2 years and have never met in person. So,
I know, but it's like you build these online reseller friends and it feels like you know them, like they're your best friends. Cam XO is here. I've got a local friend of me. Hi, ladies, from Castell's Posh Closet. And Deborah Anderson, how are things in Texas, my friend? And we've got Secrets of Wanderlust Reselling. There are a couple who are reselling. They've recently joined the Friday Live. I go live every Friday for Reseller Community Night here on the channel at 5 p.m. Here's another fabulous reselling couple. We've got Rescue and Resell. Hey, friends. So you were saying that you personally have not experienced summer slowdown. But for anyone that's new, what is summer slowdown? It is that in the reselling community, sales often drop in the warmer months in June, July, and August when people aren't just at their computers as much. They're maybe out traveling or outdoors doing more. And they usually tend to be spending a little bit more money on experiences like travel and things and outings more than being at home on their computers online. So a lot of resellers experience a dip. But if you don't, why do you think you don't? What are you doing that might benefit people?
I change up. We might have to go off, Quenby. I change up things. And I will say, when I decided to become a full-time reseller, it started in the summer, right? I was a lunch lady. So in June of that year, school was done and I focused 100% on building my reselling business. So from June to August, everything was like really cranking out for me. And I was able to walk away from my job before school started back up again. So I think for me, the reason why, and I hadn't heard of Summer Slowdown until I got deeper into the community. But what happens is sometimes people focus on just certain items. I think if you're willing to switch up, it shouldn't be difficult. And I will give you an example. For me is when I first started reselling, I only sold on Poshmark, right? My husband was already an eBay seller and Amazon seller. So I knew that in order for me to be successful, I had to add some type of other platform on.
Right.
So I've heard Summer Slowdown on Poshmark more than eBay, because Poshmark, it's a different kind of app, right? So even for resellers, they don't want to share, they don't want to follow and all that. And again, the buyers, things are slower. And I know years ago, there wasn't as many categories as there are now. So now you have pets and so many things. What I encourage people to do is maybe consider selling some different things. Poshmark is starting to get on board with these categories. So you have men's, you have children's, you have pets, you have home. So if you were only selling just women's clothes, and again, if you're selling women's clothes at a size 4, nothing against the size 4, I just threw that number out there, then think about maybe expanding, right? Maybe taking that leap, watching some of Quimby's videos. She has some really great videos on eBay, thinking about maybe adding another platform.
Yeah, I think that's like a really fantastic tip. I think diversifying is the message there. So that if you are pigeonholed into only selling one type of thing or only selling on one type of platform, consider selling something else, expanding what you sell, or expanding to another platform. If you're in the chat, let us know. Have you experienced a drop in sales in the summer? What do you sell? Where do you sell? Do you have any tips that might help people that are watching now or watching the replay a little bit later? That might help people. She's saying that's an interesting perspective. Could just be your items. And Wendy's saying, love you, Leslie. Sounds like the sound is better now. So I think we moved through whatever that was.
Yeah, I definitely, and really, to be honest, that's the reason why. And then also, how I think about reselling. Say, for instance, you weren't even talking about eBay or another platform, right? I still think of, just if you were just thinking United States, it's 50 states. The seasons are different. So oftentimes resellers sell based on their season. They don't sell based on other people's season. So it's right now, it's springtime for me here on the East Coast. Yeah. But you forget about all the other states, right? It's not summertime everywhere. It may be, but Seattle, some people were talking about it's snowing. Denver, it's snowing. So you still have to keep in mind that there are other areas. So you can sell items all year round. There are people who are like, okay, it's summertime here. Let me just pull out the shorts. I keep everything available all year round.
That's another really good tip to expand your perspective to not just where you happen to be living in the country or in the world. I use eBay's global shipping program, so I ship a lot internationally.
That's it right there.
Danny Hornet saying I sell only on Poshmark so far, but I'm going to start a Grailed for my men's stuff. I've never been on Grailed. And Cam XO said I would love for Poshmark to go international. Rescue and Resell say, yes, it is so slow and I'm listing 10 to 20 a day, but I really think it's a combination of the beautiful weather, vacations, and restrictions being listed. And there are a lot of people wondering, is there going to be a summer slowdown this year? Like last year, it wasn't as much.
Sorry about that.
Wasn't as much slowdown. So there's a lot of people going maybe with stimulus checks and some people still really being conservative and staying home. We might not experience it as much this year as we have in the past.
Yeah, I really, it really just depends on everything. Reselling is a business. It's not easy, right? A lot of people think it's easy. Is there a lot of myself?
You were saying it's a business and a lot of people think it's like super easy.
Yeah, they think it's really easy, and it's not. It's a lot of work, so it's a lot of things to consider. And I do know that, and I will give myself as an example. I had already said that when I first started selling, I was selling on Poshmark. But when I started selling, it was as a hobby because I told people, I wanted to just make sure my husband and I kind of didn't fall off in our relationship. We were practically newlyweds, and it was just a hobby. And I was a lunch lady. So I really only ran my business on the days that I was off, when school is out, right? All the holidays. The summer, I would work the first 2 years, I would just work in the summertime as if I was a full-time seller. And when school started up again, it dipped down. So oftentimes it can also be on our side, right? It could be us taking vacations, homeschooling our children. Oh, let's get out now, have some fun, go to the beach, go to the park. We could be slowing down. And what we forget is, if we don't put the energy and time in, we're not going to get anything out. That's just a thought process.
No, I think you might be right. Lynette Harris came in, so I want to say hi to her. And Allison said, Leslie sounds like she's in a tunnel. Does it still sound like that? Because it sounded better to me.
I can hear something at my end. I can hear hello. Now it sounds better. See, it keeps going in and out.
It goes in and out, yeah. So I don't know if it's your speaker or what. Barbara Babash, she's one of our great friends who's on the show every Friday. And she has said openly that she's publicly talking about she's going through cancer right now, cancer treatments.
Oh, prayers.
So we're sending love her way each time we see her. She's a super wise.
Put headphones on. Let me see if that makes a difference.
Okay. And Secrets of Wanderlust is saying, oh, these are some hashtags they might be using. Festival wear, or these are some things you might consider selling too. Beach day, lake day, cruise wear, pool day. Where do you guys use those hashtags in selling, or do you? Hey, James made it in, the Antique Boutique. Hey, James. Leslie's having a little trouble with her sound, so let us know. And Tammy McDonald just showed up. Hello from a rainy Texas. See, I live in Northern California. Now it's crackling, Leslie. I don't know. I live in Northern California where it does, past a certain point, it doesn't rain. So one of the things Leslie was just saying that I think is worth repeating kind of, and what she was saying is, some of it might be us. Like if you've got this idea that there is summer slowdown, and so maybe you're also out doing more stuff, you might not be listing as consistently as you have before, or you might not be putting as much in. That could be part of it. And I'm kind of an anomaly like you as well, in that I'm a full-time psychotherapist. My other psychotherapy channel just got to 1K. Finally, there's no sound, Leslie, from you. Say something. Oh, she muted. Okay. So that's awesome. But I usually get to put more time in the summer than I do the rest of the year. So I would actually see an increase in sales over the summer because I was listing consistently where before I couldn't always do that in the past. I was just active on all my platforms. So summer was a time when my sales increased. So I do think, yes, it's true. There's in general summer slowdown, but there are some things that you can do, and some of it is in your control. James says, hi, Quimby and Leslie. Yes, the rain here is awful. Wow. And Barbara says, I use hashtags is the item could be in more than one category. Where do you put the hashtags? I know on Poshmark we were talking about that just a little bit too.
Yes, so they have, here it is, that thing there.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but I can hear the back. I can hear myself. So if anyone complains, let us know and we can go out or something. I can go out or something. But I now have Poshmark have those keywords. Who's using keywords? That's a good one.
I know we were talking about it a little bit on the Friday live. Let us know in the chat. Have you started using those style tags, hashtags on Poshmark? I don't quite understand them yet. Because someone said that they're prescribed hashtags. Like you have to use the ones that they've put out there, but I don't know where we find those yet.
I haven't used the ones that they prescribe. Like you can start typing in letters and it will give you its suggested word.
Okay.
But like vintage or sneakers. Like yesterday, I listed some Nikes. I put in women's Nike sneakers. Hit enter and it said it accepted all three. You can put in 3.
Yeah. Mine aren't coming up automatically. Barbara says in the description or in the style tags, you can use any tag. Okay. And Secrets of Wanderlust says, I'm still playing with the hashtags they offer. Can someone let me know where they get the ones that they're offering? Like, because I'd like to try using some of those. And is anybody using video yet?
See, this is my thing. I love Poshmark and I love all of my platforms that allow me to use video. Like I'm on Etsy. I've been on Etsy for 15 years and Etsy's had video for the last 2 years. Very rarely, like if I am taking a photo of something and I said, let me just take, because it can only be 12 to 15 seconds anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. That becomes too much, and I love Poshmark, but there is just too much going on with Poshmark right now. And I happen to be in a Clubhouse room and people were talking about, Clubhouse and the different things. These weren't even features for Clubhouse. This was something they created a club and they wanted to try some things out on their own. And I just said, honestly, I'm not causing controversy. How much time do you have to commit to Poshmark, right? If you're putting in so much time, are you really making that money out on that end? And this is separate. Of course, a lot of people do have, we can use our vendors and different things like that. But say, for instance, you're just a stay-at-home mom and you don't have that, right? Are you sitting all day sharing? Now you're putting in the keywords. Now you're doing stories. Now you're doing the videos. When do you have time to actually list items to make sales? So I like to have these conversations. I don't put a whole lot of time into Poshmark. eBay and Etsy are really where my money source is now. Etsy more than anything else. And now I just cross list, right? And it's on Etsy, cross listed. And I also have for my vintage a Shopify store. And so with Poshmark, I have like the same kind of shoes and different things. And I've scaled it down. When I was moving, I said, listen, what am I selling? What's really working? Vintage was working. I want to stay with shoes. I want to stay with handbags. I sell a lot of lingerie and I still love Jomar, right? So I'll get like boxes. Like I just got a box of like the softy stuff. And then I have some Zodiac shirts coming in. You got
those?
Yes. I was like,
Leslie and I are big like Jomar. We're both affiliates. We're both huge fans.
Yes,
We hear what other people got. I've got a J. Crew box on the way. I got a women's plus size box. That video's up on the channel. It's awesome. I'm just so loving Jomar. I know they're not perfect.
You can crawl, and that's the thing. What you're putting on Poshmark, you can put onto eBay. So I think if people think about that a little bit more, then I don't know, it takes the guesswork out. I mean, you could do vice versa. And if you do have the opportunity to use a cross listing or whatever it is you're using, maybe start off on the eBay side, right? And then cross list onto Poshmark. And it kind of takes the kind of work out of it, especially with the new glitch from eBay.
Yeah, that's what I do. Nikki made it in. Glow Girl, Glower. Is it Chandra? And she says, I focus on listing.
Yes.
At the end of the day, no matter what tip we give about summer slowdown or reselling, the queen of it always for me is list. Every problem you have, every solution, slow sales, things aren't selling, it's summer slowdown, list. And then if you get that down.
Yeah. And if you get that down, hey,
that's all look how handsome my boyfriend is, and then we can go on.
Yes, Wendy and I have to get back on our groove. Yes, I'm so happy she's the first live because I haven't gone live and I don't know when I'm going live again. I'm just trying to make some videos.
I know you're gonna get back in the saddle.
Wait, I have to because that's how the money. Because I was like, wait a minute, I need my monetization to go. It's not riches, but it is. It can pay a couple bills with that that YouTube monetization. I'm almost at 2,000. That's exciting.
Yeah.
For me.
But I would like to actually hear, I think you're making a really good point, Leslie, and I'd love to hear from people in the chat now, or if they're watching the replay in the comments. Is there anyone that you know that is that is on more than one platform and says Poshmark is their main source of income? Because most people, once they get on eBay or Etsy and everything else, I notice they start saying, well, now it's eBay or now it's Etsy. I think Poshmark, I love it. I'll continue to sell on there. But it's never been my main source of income. And I think it would be a challenge to do that way with all the things, the special features they have and the things they're asking, right?
And I do know people who are like Poshmark is there. I know people who still only sell on Poshmark.
I think if you only sell on Poshmark, it probably is your Once you get on eBay and Etsy and some of these others, I think it's very rare that Poshmark continues to be. Yeah. There might be an exception, but have you heard anyone be like, no, it's still Poshmark for me?
I have heard people say that, but then in the same breath, they're doing all the work that it requires, And
yeah. Allison said I make way more on eBay than Posh. Yeah, hey, Allison, I thought you were going to say the opposite, and I was like, here's one.
Yeah, James is saying, what's going on now?
Here's James. Let's see. There's so many great comments. Thank you guys so much. James says, I think it depends on whether you get responses. Oh, this is about offers. They're talking about offers. Okay. I think it depends on whether you get responses more than what others do. People have different experiences. If I got a response for offers that started less than 50%, I'd counter, but I don't. Let's go back up here because they're talking about offers, which is always good stuff. Here it is. Okay, this is what it was. CamXO said, I'm new to Poshmark, just curious if there's anything to declining offers. Does anyone have any thoughts? And James says, I decline ridiculous offers.
Yeah, I don't decline anything.
I don't either.
I don't decline. I don't really get too deep into anybody's algorithm, honestly, because Quimby and I talk about this all the time. And she's really a great person to listen to, that what works for you doesn't work for anyone else. But what I feel in a declining process is that you're just instantly, that's it, right? You can counter and just leave it at that. I always say my answer is either yes or no, but I don't decline. So someone sends me an offer, I counter. I don't go back and forth because that's time. Time and money to me go hand in hand. But it's giving people the benefit of doubt, because what I'm like I come from the practical side of Poshmark. Since I've been selling, I just celebrated my 3 weeks ago, my Posh anniversary. So I've been reselling for 5 years.
5 years, wow.
Yes, because that's where I started reselling on Poshmark. And I was that person who was doing it as a hobby. My prices were very low. And so I'm that person who can say that was what worked for me, and then it may be a stay-at-home mom, her prices work for her. And so that works the other way with customer. The customers are really starting a conversation with you. That's the first thing. Or you have to remember, Quimby and I are two different people. She has a store. We're selling the same thing. Her top is 15, mine is 50, but her top is a size smaller than that person can get. So if you open up your mind and you think from every perspective, instead of going, I'm going to block them or I'm going to decline, just think about all these platforms. There's opportunity for everyone from the seller and the buyer perspective. I keep an open mind about everything.
Me too.
And so if someone sends you an offer, if it's 50% less, start the conversation by sending a counter. Now, I don't get deep. I mean, again, for me with Poshmark, time, I don't have time. There are a lot of people who will create a bundle and get into, this is what I'm going to accept. I never do that. I don't have time for it. I really don't. I will counter. And if it doesn't look good from there, I'll just let it go. You have in 24 hours, it drops off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what will happen in 24 hours, they get that notification an hour before. If anybody knows
that it's about to expire.
Because your offer is about to expire. We get that and they get that. So I've had plenty of times when they've had a chance to think about it.
Yeah.
And they'll come back and they'll buy it. So that still keeps the conversation open. But again, that's just my perspective on it. And I consider myself successful.
And that's what I love. Here's the thing, resellers, it's your business. Yeah. It is your business. You are the boss. You can decide to do whatever you want. I always think it's helpful to hear how other people think. And sometimes I'll have a shift in perspective or I'll try something new. But at the end of the day, you can decide you're declining every offer or accepting every offer. You got to do what works for you. Reseller Wendy made it. We're working at the post office today, and mom of a rock star saying, hey ladies. Sarah Lee made it. Hi, Quimby. Happy to see you. So glad to see. She's a great vintage seller. Humbly, Chris is here.
Yes.
And hey, great to see you guys. Really happy that you're here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. I do have a theory, though. I've seen this on eBay many times. If I get many offers on an item and I don't accept them, that item will never sell. Yeah. I hesitate to use it, but what I'll do now is be proactive. If I get like 3 low balls from different customers and I don't take any of them, I go in there, I end the listing, and I do sell similar because I do think there is some algorithm thing where they say, hey, this item isn't selling, and it gets to the bottom of the list or something. So that is a tip I use.
Yeah.
Zoe. Hey, Zoe.
Well, I will say, see, eBay is different for me than Poshmark. What I love about eBay now, see, eBay, like Poshmark, I don't send offers because there is that 20%, right? I accept offers, but I don't send offers.
You don't send any offers on Poshmark?
I used to in the beginning, but it becomes too much work. So like I used to, like if there are people say they create, like if soon as somebody likes, I really don't have time for that. But the only reason, we said this earlier, Quimby, I sell on multiple platforms, you see. So if Poshmark was the only platform, when in the beginning I was doing that, okay, let me send an offer. Before they had the bundling, so then it had to be 10% less and all that.
Yeah.
It became too much. So I treat Poshmark the same way I treat like other platforms, right? It's not my only thing. So if I can get straight up sales from Etsy, there is no, if you're on Etsy now, there is no sending offers, right? They're not sending offers.
You can set it up, right? Like if someone likes it or hearts it, you can have it automatically send them an offer.
Or send them, like you can have them send, you can send them like a coupon or something like that.
Yeah.
But I like eBay because with eBay, you can send offer, but you can send it for whatever you want. So if you have an item that's $23, you can send a $22 offer if you want, So I'll do that in eBay. You'll get a notification saying these items are eligible, right, for you to send an offer. So I'll go a couple times a week and go, okay, bam, 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 bam. And then you probably get about 10 sales from that. So I love the flexibility that eBay, and it also has that cutoff where you can say, I don't want to accept an offer lower than this.
Yeah. I do love that about eBay. And that's relatively new on eBay since like 2019, where now eBay allows you to send offers. That wasn't there before. And I make so many sales with that.
Yeah, that's my go-to right there. Like, especially I just opened my store back up. So what I had to go in and do, well, you know what I had to do, right? Because the new thing, I don't know if it was a glitch. Was it a glitch? I think you did a video or talked about it.
Well, tell me which thing
you're required, not the recommendation. Right?
Oh.
I went in and it happened to be 80 required. I'm like, I just did all of it.
I know. I love you, but
and I was like, no. And most of them were just the size. I was like, no.
eBay, if you're not familiar, recently eBay's had kind of a glitch where if you have shoes, it was saying that you had to add the required specific of the shoe size. And if you don't have the required, they're not going to put your item up there at the top of search or anything. So you had to go in there and do it. Oh, well, I just do it and move on. James says, when I decline, I get more sales at a higher price point than I do when countering. It cuts to the chase, I find. And if they want the item, they will come up. Yep. I don't know. And let's see, Wendy's saying hi to Chris and Chandra. And Rescue and Resale say, you're right at the Grateful Queen. We all have different perspectives and business models. That's why I love these YouTubes and these chats, because you get to I recommend staying open, like open-minded, and maybe I'll learn something new. That's
it. I mean, and really that's the key. And especially if it's not something you're doing as, your main income, right? Hi, Daniela.
I haven't seen Daniela in a bit. Where have you been?
No,
Is it finally getting nice in Rhode Island? It's so great to see you.
I told her I miss her. I sent her a message. I was like, I haven't heard from Daniela in a while. I sent her a text message the other day because I was like, how you doing, sweetie? Like, I miss you.
Yeah, I miss her too.
She's busy.
And KMX says, wow, people block for lowball offers. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I mean, you guys all get to do like what you want to do, your business, your life. I don't block anyone. It's just not my style, but And James says, I like Macari because they can't send an offer less than 25% of your listing price. Wow. Let me know in the chat. What platforms do you sell on, so we know who's here and what we're dealing with? I've never sold on Macari. Have you, Leslie?
I shut down I didn't shut down. I deactivated. So I just put deactivate. You can hit a button and deactivate your listings without closing your store.
You're on Etsy.
So I have 3 Etsy stores.
Tell us about that. 3.
Okay. Yes, so they're each different though. So I have a vintage store, which is my Etsy vintage store is called Found Like This. It is literally my main platform because I'm kind of switching gears and focusing a lot on vintage these days. Vintage is about sustainability, and it's like, items that people can't get somewhere else. So that is a vintage store. Then I have a handmade store, Leslie's Tie-Dye Dreams, where I have these tie-dye. Then I have a store called Graphic Necessity, where it is a print on demand. So I've designed some things, some shirts and different things like that. And it's like you set it and forget it. And it's drop shipping. So they go in, make a purchase, and then it comes from the company and I get a percentage. So you can figure out, what you want to charge. And it'll tell you, like, if I sell a mug, I get like $9 from every mug that I sell. And I don't have to, it doesn't have to go in my hands. They handle customer service and everything. So if a mug gets cracked or something like that, they handle everything. So that's been pretty cool. Then I sell on Poshmark, my same Poshmark account. I've changed my name 4 times on Poshmark. I had to actually the last time send them a message and say, can I have a reseller's passion? Because it's like beyond the 15 characters. Like if you see a reseller's passion here, that's 17 characters. So I spell it without the I and the O. And that's the same way I spell it on Clubhouse because it's only 15 characters. So I said,
good tip, actually.
And they changed it for me. But so Poshmark has been my longest selling reselling platform. Then I have, once I picked up List Perfectly, other people said, like I know Quimby has Vendu and some people have other things. Once I picked up the cross listing platform, I said, okay, let me open up my eBay store again. So I have a regular eBay store, and then now I have another eBay store, which is for just vintage. So I cross list from one vintage platform to the other. Vintage really is that makes sales for me, right?
But that's a newer thing, right? Like you just made that switch in the last year or so?
It's been a year, right? It's been in the last year. And then the cool thing about us being like Jomar affiliates, I get a lot of my boxes from Jomar. It's mystery, but it's like the stuff they send. So if I get a box with 25 pieces,
I'm
going to really 20 pieces. I can, you know what I'm saying? I can really do well with that. But I actually bit the bullet. We haven't talked. I bit the bullet. And just before I move, why would I do it before I move? I don't know. I had so much affiliate money, but I bought a 200 piece Jomar box. So like I have all this.
Look at all that shirt right there. I'm sorry. Stop everything. We need to see that shirt right there.
We moved to this brand new area. And Thomas, the day before, had hit this not vintage store, this thrift store. Oh, I like this thrift store. He got himself a desk there. And he said, oh, I'm going to take you back tomorrow. And he said, you'll like it. He was sending me pictures of stuff because he still doesn't know what vintage is. And he said, I think this dress is vintage. I get there. There's a whole rack of new with tags. Stuff is like between $4 and $7. Okay. Are you seriously? Vintage piece. This is a set, new with tags, never been worn. These are short.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to see where my camera is.
I can see short.
Right there.
It's like dead stock or old stock.
Look at this top. Dead stock. Look at that.
That is
metal.
It's like a Free People set.
On the verge is what it. And it's brand new. It's crisp, brand new. And I'm telling you. And so I walked out with just 2 things. And then every now and then I'll source. I've sourced from the Goodwill, right, auction site. You should see, I'm going to list, they're not listed yet, but they're vintage fur coats, like leather, and they just have like fur collar.
Oh, wow.
$7. I got that from Quimby. I wasn't shopping on it.
So what she's referring to is the Goodwill has a site online where you can shop just like eBay called ShopGoodwill.com. I don't think enough people use it. It takes a little bit of time.
You put a bid in, I'm like, it's worth it for me to pay the shipping because like it's stuff that's just been sitting. It's just like good. I mean, it's just like eBay because like the bid is going to end or whatever. You put your bid in and it's the greatest feeling. Like you won. I mean, I've done it probably about 20 times and only won about 5. But that means to me, I only needed those 5. But then I sell, I haven't started yet. There's another, I don't know if you guys have talked about it. I haven't been on your lives in a while. On Fridays, I haven't been able to attend, but it's a new vintage site called Shop Thrilling. Have you heard?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
So Shop Thrilling, you have to actually be approved. So you give them like your eBay store, your Etsy store where you're selling vintage, and they literally check it out. And then they approve you or not approve you. So they approve me to be a seller. The challenge is that it's not linked to like a cross listing, you know.
Oh, so you have to do it all separate.
You have to do it on your own. I have not yet listed anything, but I will say to anybody who does sell vintage and you think that you have quality vintage, I have over 200 items listed, and I still have more to list. I've been doing a lot of live sales, so we can talk about that in a minute. But so they approved it, and I haven't had a chance to list because I have so many listings and I don't really have the time. But once you become a seller on Shop Thrilling, every Tuesday they have a wholesale sale. Oh. You get an email, and it starts at your time during the day. So it starts at 8 a.m. or whatever, because it's 11 a.m. my time. They're on California time. And it runs until 11 or 11:59. And you go in, and it's all these vintage pieces. And they add more pieces every 2 or 3 hours. So you can literally source. Now I buy
on there, yeah.
And I buy about 3 to 7 pieces every week, depending.
Wow.
And normally they sell. Like I just bought, I'm trying to see. Oh, so these just came to me. Last week I only
let us know in the chat. Do you guys sell vintage? Are you interested? If you don't sell it, why not? Do you need to learn or what?
I just like this jacket, and the prices are no higher than like some prices are $30 a piece, but there are a lot of dresses that are from like the 60s and the 20s. I only stay within I did buy a piece for $15. It was a dress, $15, but I sold that for $75.
So you have to know you're going to get a.
Let me check it. Know ahead of time, and then it's nothing higher than 30, and it starts at 5, and it's all kinds of stuff. I bought sunglasses. Like this is another. Oops, like this kind of.
Oh my God, so vintage, yeah.
So much I have vintage stuff. So I've also been doing live sales.
Yeah, let me pause for a second. Let me just check in with the chat for a second, and then let's talk about Instagram Live. James says, I love listening I love listening both just to what people do, but why? What is the thinking behind that? And that's how we all learn and make decisions. Yes. Reseller Wendy said, I read an Instagram post today where people said they block people when they like an item and decline or let the offer expire. They find it annoying and a waste of time. I guess they don't want sales. Yeah, and Daniela says, I've had a lot going on the last 2 or 3 months. Haven't been on social media, YouTube much, especially the last 2 weeks. Still watching and supporting you all. I hear that.
I love you, Daniela.
We love you. I hear that. Let me just see. Barbara says, I have several vintage items I need to list, including some of my baby clothes. And Secret says, I'm good with 90s and Y2K, but I need help on other decades. And Barbara's been buying a ton from Shop Goodwill. So that's good. And they said, Leslie, I gave my mom the cowboy boot bag. What's the story there?
I did the Jomar, and one of the vintage bags that I got was it looked like it was a bag, but it was like a cowboy boot. Somebody had made a bag out of a cowboy boot, and Renee purchased it and said
for herself or what?
Mom, she gave it to her mom. Oh, it says that is so sweet. Yes, but yes, for the Y2K, that is the reason that we identify with Y2K, because that wasn't that long ago. I can't believe that was even 20 years ago. So vintage.
So Y2K is what years? Really?
2000. So vintage is only 20 years. So 20 year. That's it. And 20 year or older. Okay. Yeah. So of course, Y2K is anything 20 years ago. And so it was like the high-waisted pants and things like that. The sweatsuit jackets and the sweaters and things like that. So a lot of the younger people can relate to that, because a lot of that was really only what their maybe older siblings were wearing, or their older aunts and uncles, not even really parents, because in the 90s, I was a mother, but I was wearing what I could afford. So for me, I don't get the Y2K. I don't purchase that stuff. I like the older stuff. And for someone who asked that question, I would just say a really good tool for last minute, if you're sourcing, Google Lens is a good last minute tool. Like if you have the time that you can fill up your cart, like if you're at the bins or something, oftentimes we've been sourcing for a long time. If you are 30 and older and it was something that you wore, your grandparents wore, if you've ever watched Downton Abbey or Jane Austen or whatever, and you're like, that kind of looks like, and then if the tag looks too new, then it's probably not vintage. A lot of times what I love about vintage is it will give you an idea of the date on the tag. And then also a lot of the vintage was made in the USA. It wasn't made like in China back then. Because you got to remember, in the 1920s and stuff, that it was a lot going on, wars and stuff. So they weren't having other countries make it. So
when is it considered like antique? Like, as opposed to vintage? Because I think, God, if you're talking about
is the hard goody stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something that's hard goods. So you'll be like, oh, that's or whatever, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And Barbara Babash is hilarious. Y2K wasn't 20 years ago.
I know. I'm with Barbara on. I tell you, I always still feel some kind of way. You know what I feel some kind of way about? Mom jeans. Like, how did they become mom jeans? I was wearing those jeans. Come on now. Like now because they're high waisted, we're covering our belly, they're mom jeans.
Well, I graduated. I'm 45, so I graduated in 94, and everything that the 20-year-olds are wearing now with the light wash jeans up high and the t-shirt, it's like, oh my God, that was.
So James and Sarah are saying 100 years older is antique.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. See, Sarah Lee, you want to follow her on Instagram if you're interested in vintage and antique. She has a really gorgeous collection. And Deborah Anderson in Texas was saying, I just came into a lot of vintage clothes from an online auction I won. So I guess I will be learning and listing vintage.
And take your time and don't overwhelm. I actually purposely walked into vintage. So there are still times like I don't know a lot. One thing I will say is I am on Clubhouse. I try not to, I actually schedule myself. When I first got on, I was on a lot. But there are specific rooms. If anybody knows Breezy Von Breezy, Christy, who is Red Cake Recycle, they actually have their own vintage club. And they come on once or twice a week and they get in deep about, like, they tell you how to identify labels and stuff like that. So I go into some of those spaces. Like today, I just had an upcycling room. We talked about upcycling items and things like that. But
because it sounds like there's a lot of money in vintage. Like when you're talking about your sales, would you say it's higher than your modern items?
Oh, definitely. That's why I say it's the best. That's why I love Etsy, where there is no haggling. I will say I will cross-list the eBay, and I'll probably put my price up a little bit so that I can send offers out. Whereas Etsy, whatever the price is, it sells. Very rarely. I've been an Etsy seller for 15 years, only vintage for a year and a half. Yeah. But like people know the value on Etsy, whether it be handmade, whether it be vintage. So it's not a whole lot. And if your items don't sell, one thing you can do is you can have a sale. You can go in and create a sale based on percentage or how much people spend. And the sale only has to last like a couple of days. And then what happens is it goes into the algorithm. Yeah, it pushes you up and people will come and buy. And if you already have customers, people who have previously liked something, they're waiting. As Quimby said, if you can do different coupons where people put things into their cart, and instead of them abandoning their cart, you can send them a coupon automatically once they put something in their cart, and it can remind them to come back. Oh, you have something in your cart, you can take 20% off. So Etsy gives you that flexibility.
And when we started this video, we were talking about summer slowdown, and that's another big tip. It is a great time to run any type of sale, promotion. If you're on eBay or whatever, and you have a sale going, eBay loves that. They're going to put your stuff at the higher up in the search. Yeah. It's a great way to boost things. Everybody does it. Car sales.
I wish that Poshmark. I mean, that's what thing about Poshmark is like. There are some things they're doing, but not a lot of things. Because if you could give their people the ability to run a sale. And the cool thing about eBay, and like I was saying with Etsy, you're controlling the percentage of your sale. Yeah. So like if someone sends you, like if they purchase it, you already know what you're going to get. So that's what I do like about eBay. And I don't do it as much on eBay, but on Etsy, what I do, especially with my handmade, I was running a sale every weekend. So when people come in and they buy from you, it pushes you in the algorithm. So if my sale goes from Friday to Sunday, it still keeps me up there in visual during the course of the week. So on my vintage store, every 3 weeks or a month, I will have a sale. And so it's up to you. You can do 5 to, I think, 85% off. So the most I ever do on vintage is 20%, but then I'll get some sales going.
But then you get the sales out. That's the thing about sales. It keeps things moving. James says, I have a ton of vintage to list, tons of Jessica McClintock and Gunny sacks. Now that's big money.
I got my friend Renee, I don't know if you guys know Renee. She's fashionista 2018, I think she is. She just sent me, James, 3 Gunny sacks. Just because. Here's one.
She just sent those to you?
She says, let's say I want to send you a box of vintage stuff. So
oh my God. You gotta love people. I love it.
Yes. Reselling community. So 3 Gunny sacks she sent me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it.
What are they going for?
I don't know. I've never sold Gunny sacks. When they came to me, I was like, wow, but that's what they are, James. Jessica McClinton Gunny sacks is all 3 of these. So I have to see, because they're small. The one was so small, I couldn't even fit her on my size 6 mannequin. I'm like, hopefully it'll sell. Yeah. So I will play around with those.
Sarah Lee says the Vintage Fashion Guild has vintage tag identification for most brands.
They do.
James says he loves it.
By decade. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about, I noticed you're doing a lot of Instagram sales, which I have not done, and yours seem quite successful.
Let's talk about
it. It's a great tool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great tool to market your business. It's a great tool to connect with people, but I think it has a lot more potential for making money for resellers, but a lot of us don't really know how to do it. Let me know in the comments or the chat. How do you use Instagram as a reseller? Is it just to talk to friends? Is it to showcase items? I've bought from people off Instagram.
No, it's all marketing. It's marketing across the board for me. Like we use YouTube, so when we're doing our videos and everything. But if we just do a post, that's an easy type of. Renee says my rescue and resale. Renee says my lives are on sale. So this is why I started doing lives, as a way to liquidate. I knew I was moving, right? So when I got into Clubhouse, I ran into a bunch of resellers who only sold on Instagram. They knew nothing about Poshmark, and now it's kind of grown because people are coming. That's all they did, Quimby. That's all they did. So they didn't sell on Poshmark. They didn't sell on eBay. They just decided last year or maybe the year before, let me see if I can sell. And so I would just go into their rooms. That's what they call it on Clubhouse, the rooms, and just kind of listen to what they were saying. Yeah. Then I would go and watch some of the lives just to see if it's something that appealed to me. So I said, look, I'm moving. Why not try it? It's not taking away from my platforms that I'm already selling on, but I want to liquidate. I don't want to put my stuff back into the system. I don't want to send it to Goodwill or whatever. So let me see if I can do it. Now, my first sale, now here I am talking about liquidating, but my first sale, I jumped all the way in with handbags, right?
Yeah.
And there's different ways you can do sales. You can have an auction where you start the bid like it's bidding. So I say, okay, the bid's starting at 25, and then it increases. Each person has to be 30, 35 or whatever.
I've seen people do that on posts. Yeah. Like they put a picture of the item and then they say bidding starts or buy it now. So I've seen that a lot in posts.
That's exactly how it works. But you decide. So that's the only one I've ever had where I've done the bidding, because I think when you do that, it takes away from people who could buy it at $25. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it was just too much for me to keep up with. So that first sale was very successful. I will say my very first sale, I made on $800 the first night.
$800 one night.
One night. And then what I was doing was, because I wanted to get rid of stuff, I was holding sales on Saturday and Sunday. So that first weekend, I made $2,000. Okay.
Oh my gosh, $2,000.
So the first day I did.
And there's no fees taken out.
Right. There's no fees. And then the only thing is you just have to figure out like how you're going to get payment. So
I do
about that. Venmo or Cash App. Okay.
CamXO said, I'm still confused. How do people pay? Do you use PayPal or Cash App?
I use Venmo and Cash App. I don't do PayPal. The reason that I don't do PayPal, because PayPal is more of the invoicing system and it takes too much to keep track of. With Venmo and Cash App, they pay you right away. So
how does it work? If I wanted to buy something, what would I put? Like small pink top, or how do you?
So what you do is you actually put in like what you purchased. So you would go in, you have to download the app, which way you're going to pay. I like it if you do have both apps, right? The app allows you to set up a business account. And I did that. You can have a regular account, but at the end of the year, they're going to send me a 1099 because I'm a business. So I'm a reseller's passion. That's me. So you go in, Quimby, yep, the dress is yours, right?
Okay, yeah.
I have a number. I use numbers. I have numbers that I use.
Oh, that's a tip. Okay, yeah.
So when they buy it, it's like 165. So it's not even all that, 165. Okay. And then you go into Cash App, you make your payment, and you write in there 165. Then you screenshot it. You send me the screenshot, your name and your address.
On Instagram messages.
Yep, as a DM.
You should do a separate video about this.
Yes.
So that people that, because I'm very interested. I know there are probably other people. We could put that in the title and description. And
then there are people already selling on like, Macari, right? So,
Rescue and Reseller saying, Leslie, do an example.
We're having a live sale tomorrow. So if anybody's interested, Reseller's Passion, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And you can go see how she does it.
And I'm interactive. I'm different than other people. I actually teach why I'm going. So I say, ask me questions. I give you examples. Like every now and then I'll buy myself some tools. So instead of using my phone, I use my iPad. So I have a stand. This is an iPad stand. And it's bigger for me. Like on the other side, when you've seen lives before, people can't tell if but for me, that phone screen is so tiny.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of tips. I talk about like, make sure you have some water available. If you can have an assistant, like you have Torval. He's mature. He's a mature.
That's my 9-year-old son.
Yeah. So he can help you, like hand you stuff or whatever. He's really good with that. And he wouldn't kind of play around, whereas I tell people, try not to have babies around because it's serious. You're making sales and stuff. But if you can have a helper, that works out. I haven't had a helper, but I just make sure I'm set up. I try to set up the day before. Organizing, put my numbers. Like I actually treated myself and got these cute little pink hangers. And then
I need some of those non-slip hangers.
Yeah, I got these, and they come in all kinds of color, but pink is my color. And then I bought these numbers, and they go on.
James says Torvald is Quimby's manager. He is. He's my manager. He's my marketer, and he charges me for all that stuff. Rescue Resell said, "That's what I'm saying. Leslie's auctions are so smooth. You guys need to watch her. I think that'd be great."
Yeah, definitely.
Venmo is owned by PayPal.
I use numbers. See, Amazon again. I have two different ones. I have ones from 0 to 100, and then these are 100 to 200. And I just put all the items, have everything organized. And yeah, definitely just watch. And it's a great way for you to continue. One thing that I will say to people, this is the key, and I'm not going to take over the whole chat. The key is your audience has to know you. And I say that meaning like, Quimby, she may not be as like active all the time, but they know who she is. If she wasn't on Instagram for 6 months and all of a sudden she's, hey guys, I'm going live tomorrow.
Yeah. So, and I do think you probably need to have do you think you need to have a decent amount of followers so that some people show up?
I think you can do it. I think you can have a successful sell with 200 people.
Wow.
Because this is the key. Like I'll give you an example. My research is you have to be organized, James. If you're not like especially if you don't have like help. Like my husband's here and stuff. And actually my husband was going live with me on Sunday. So we would share that space. I would sell 5 items and he would do it.
And as you can see, people everybody here probably knows Leslie, but it's like you have a lot of different businesses. You're a serial entrepreneur in so many ways. You do so much. And then I'll see a picture of you on Instagram just chilling on your porch with coffee. And I'm like,
listen,
this person who's doing all this.
You're talking about being in a space of Zen. If anybody here, if you're looking at my posts, I will say I'm still kind of getting used to the move. And, I consider this my husband's move. He's 60, he'll be 64. He needed to retire. He needed to be. So I'm like, listen, sweetie, I'll let you have it, but I need to have a place for my business. I had a couple things that I had to have, right? And I'm currently looking for a car. But one thing I will say, when I came, I fell in love with the outside. And the first thing I had to do, I looked all over for these chairs, and then I finally found them on Amazon. I'm out there an hour to 2 hours every day, getting myself into a space of gratitude, to a space of meditation. I'm able to write. I'm able to answer my DMs. I'm able to be in my planner. And if you can do it, do it. And then once your mind is focused and clear, and then you can come and do this other stuff.
Yeah. Every successful entrepreneur, business person that I have followed on YouTube or read their book, every one of them has a morning practice. Yeah. Hands down. They get up earlier than most of us, and they have some sort of practice. It might be a journaling. It might be walking, yoga, working out, setting intentions. Everyone successful that's able to do a lot more than the rest of us seem to be able to do, they have some sort of practice in the morning.
Especially when we get older, we have to. We gotta. I'm so happy just to get up every day.
Yeah, it's like grateful. I just want to note, Sarah Lee made a couple comments about those gunny sack dresses. She's got some from the late 60s, early 70s that she's been researching. I need to list them. Some are going for 500. And James made a comment about there are certain gunny sack dresses that go, here we go, the prairie stuff goes for more. That is true. Those like ones that look like free people dresses.
Nice.
For sure. Barbara Babash says Quemby's a boho free people lover. That's so true.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey babes, Petey just got home. Yeah, we should do another video kind of all about that, because I have a feeling a lot of people are interested.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's a really great way to just try it, to liquidate if you want to make a little. And so 2 weeks ago, I did, which was higher kind of prices, but I will do a store where it's like $5, $25. And the $5 is like I was selling cosmetic bags. So shipping was like nothing. So it's not like I'm selling a top for $5. And then also the shipping is included. I don't do extra shipping, it's included. So if it's $25, that's what it is. And I explain to people, I joke around like, I can feel it in the weight. That's why, just letting them kind of know that, because a lot of people do charge for shipping, but that becomes too much work. So I've got it all figured out ahead of time. Because some people were like, how can you do that? I'm like, well, first of all, we want our inventory to sell. As resellers, yes, like of course, and Quimby talks about it all the time. She may get a box, and then it may be 2 or 3 things that she knows, like she's selling jeans for 150, but not everything's going to sell for 150. So we got to let these things go. The whole purpose is to make money, right? So we really just have to think, like, how important is that? If it's been sitting 6 months.
And guess what? You're not having a 20% Poshmark fee, so that covers the cost of shipping.
And I've explained that to people, like if I sold it on Poshmark, they're taking away. So I've actually done it at the end of my last couple of sales. I said, let me just put everything on racks. And then if I sold it, it was my Poshmark store, I just sat down after the sale and deleted everything right off of Poshmark. And I didn't worry about fee. And the last thing I want to say is the shipping. If you're already familiar with like Pirate Ship, you can use Pirate Ship or PayPal. I use PayPal because I have a business account through PayPal. You're going to create you have a scale. If you're already selling on eBay or something, it's the same type of shipping structure. So you're not like missing out on anything. If it's a pair of shoes and it was going to go into that padded envelope, bam, there it is. So go to my channel, watch some of the videos. My first weekend, I had 72 packages that I shipped out.
And there is it sounds like there's some work on the front end, setting it up and organizing it. Yes. You're probably on there, like an hour or so?
And I stay on for 2 hours.
2 hours, and then you have the shipping time, so it's still work.
And I take a day off. So and that's the only thing. I don't have an assistant right now. There's a couple areas that I might but my nieces live down here, so I just told them the other day, Auntie got a job, some stuff you can do. So there you go. But like, I did tell Thomas, I'm like, whoa, if I continue to do this, I would have to hire somebody at least to ship, Quimby. So what I do is if I sell on Friday, I was doing 2 sales. Now I'm only doing 1 sale a week. And I was selling on Saturday, but I'm switching it to Thursday because people are getting busy and I can see the numbers kind of dropping. So I'm trying tomorrow. I don't usually sell on Thursday. I usually sell on Saturday. And when I did it 2 weeks ago, I only sold a few things. So I was like, maybe people are out. They're living their life. Let me try Thursday night. But if I sell Thursday night, that stuff will probably go out Friday and Saturday morning. But when I was selling on Saturday and Sunday, I was so tired. My feet hurt. My throat was raw. Yeah. I took Monday off, and the people knew that if you bought something on Saturday, it went out on Tuesday. If you bought something on Sunday, it went out on Wednesday. And some people bought stuff both nights, and some people bought multiple stuff. I was using those large boxes. So
that's amazing.
Experience, and you might get like my friend again, Renee. She only has a few things on Poshmark now, but every Wednesday she's going live. That's what she's doing now. She's considering that her full-time business as a reseller, as a live seller. And
so gosh, it could really turn into something like that.
Well, for her, she does reels, she does videos, and she has sponsors. They send her stuff, and she does giveaways and stuff like that. So she's incorporated this. I don't have want to do all that, but yeah, I was like, because I'm still older, and after I'm done, I'm like, ooh, I'm tired.
Yeah, but you make a good amount of money. Deborah's reminding people to like the video, and Mom, the Rockstar, said there are Facebook groups for gunny sacks. Yeah, that's like a culty thing. People love that gunny sack stuff. So, all right, friends, we're gonna wrap up. I just want to thank you as usual. Oh my, I learned so much every time I have you on. It is so enlightening for me. Everybody loves you, and I'm so glad that I know you haven't been on YouTube, and you're telling me, come on. Lisette is dropping in the last moment. Hey, Lisette.
Yeah, how's Andrew doing? I hope he's better.
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming on. I know you haven't been on. I hope we see you some more on YouTube. And you can find her everywhere at A Reseller's Passion on every platform.
I got all kinds of stuff coming up, y'all. So check me out.
Thanks, friends. We'll see you soon. Bye.